My approach was pretty simple. I don't try and
What is it?
This is the one area where I do try and keep it pretty simple, because I know you can,
Yeah,
you can go down a rabbit hole if you try and get too fancy with it.
totally, man, totally. So, okay, recording now. So I'm just going to share my screen, man. So we'll start here. So so let me sort of run you through like basically the best practice document that we use, and we use with other studios as well. And it's just a reminder for us as well. Whenever we try and get too fancy, we just kind of come back to this and go, right, we'll just kind of keep it there. The first thing is, I love Gary Vee as much as the next person, right? But if you listen to Gary Vee for long enough, he tells you that we need to be posting, 100 bits of content across all the different social media channels and everything like that. And it's just like you hear it and you go, fuck, I'm just not doing enough. But it's fine. Like, and we don't have a D-Rock. We don't have a guy following us around in the background with a camera. We've got what we've got with these little things. Like, all we really just need to focus on is like, you do you, but just get 1% better every day. I think where people go wrong as well is, and you see it all the time, is they try and like be perfect and pretty in every shot. Yeah. The issue with that is it's like there's 4 days between posts. It's inconsistent because it takes you too long, and it takes you 4 hours to post something, because I'm terrible with captions, which is why the captains do it. And it takes too long to manage the account. So the big change for us was when we just made a commitment to create consistent, real and authentic content. You want to add value to people's news feeds, and then your audience will show up. In terms of like when ideal, like just every day, just post something every day, man, across the 2 to 3 channels, whichever ones that are, the ones that are bouncing well with your audience. For us, obviously it's Facebook and Instagram. Again, with Gary Vee, like he'll tell you that, and it's true. Like the different channels, like people engage differently in the different channels, right? Instagram's a bit more of a, they call it the world's biggest stadium. It's everyone's just there and they're looking, they're spectating, and it's pretty and it's spur of the moment and it's kind of like behind the scenes. And Facebook is now, and it has been for a couple of years now, like a legit business tool.
Yeah.
Like who called, like we ordered like the Mushroom Chef meals or the YouFoods meals. Does anyone call these people anymore? Like you go straight to Facebook and you drop in the little message and the live chat pops up, and before you know it, bang, you've got a promo code and you've ordered 10 meals. Like you're off and running. Like
web page.
100%. It's a new web page. It's a new customer chat. Like no one wants to speak to anyone. They just want the promo code. So, so wherever your people are. But my point was like Gary Vee will say that post different stuff on Instagram and just different stuff on Facebook. Absolutely, but if you're not posting anything at the moment, just post the same thing. You'll see what works, and then just kind of go 1% better every day, and like compound interest. You look back and go, fuck, look at that first shit I used to post. Should be embarrassing, the first stuff you used to post, to some degree. I think the other biggest mistake that
what channels are you guys on? Insta and Facebook?
Facebook and Insta at the moment, yeah. And there's still a lot of what they call like blue ocean on those 2 channels for us at the moment. Again, because if you follow one F45, you follow a few, same like our members do, and you see the same posts that pop up in one, and it does the rounds, doesn't it? Like
absolutely,
it does and it's just like, so there's still plenty of open space in terms of better content and like your voice. So which is actually brings me to perfect segue, is you're not a generic studio with generic team, generic members. You're not a generic owner. So why post generic content?
Yep. Great.
Add value. Like this is the number one thing. Like before you publish anything, ask yourself, and like we kind of have this exercise with our guys as well. It's like, is this shareable? Is this valuable? Would you engage with it? Like, would you bookmark it? Because what we want to do by adding value is we want to create the goodwill in the market. We want to warm the market up to us. We want to demonstrate that you guys are a specialist. You're an expert in your field. and that kind of positioning is priceless, man. So then when our ads come through the market, you're sort of harvesting off, like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you've already put the effort into warming the market up.
Yeah, the awareness is already there. Yep.
The awareness is there, but it's also the likability. Like, people don't buy from people, like, we buy from people we know, like, and trust.
Yep.
So
you don't buy from a faceless company.
That's right. We, like, you know, even things like, you know, examples of this is, you know, what I call kind of generic content is, you know, a shot of a kettlebell on a Panthers and just go, on Thursdays we lift, you know, something like that. Well, it made you laugh, but we all did it. Like,
no, I agree. I'm laughing because I agree, because there's a lot of that floats around.
Or like, tomorrow Romans you, and it's like, what is that? Like, people that know that, if you're not part of F45, what the hell is a Romans? So how do you do this? And this is just a social media strategy within kind of 30 seconds. Like, what you basically do there is, you can do this better by really knowing, like, who you're speaking to, like where they're at, where they want to be, which is kind of these two emojis here. And then, like, the gap in the middle is everything we post, we want to move them further along that continuum towards the sort of, you know, where they want to be. And what they are content pillars. So that, like, the 2, 3, 4, 7 kind of areas of things that you talk about that you want to be known for with repetition in the market. Like, if you follow like a Gary V, his thing is like hustle and grind kind of thing, stop complaining, and like entrepreneur social media, like, that's his thing. If you follow Grant Cardone, which is a sales guy, he's all about, you know, obviously sales, real estate, and 10x. Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. Obviously F45 is a corporate brand, you know, it's all about it's like team training. It's, you know, it's, you know, the workouts themselves, and it's definitely that sort of sexy sizzle, you know, aspect of things. But, you know, even F45 is, and I guess I leave it up to us, which is probably not a bad thing from a kind of on the ground level for us to kind of get localized. But you think of anyone that you follow actively on socials, you're following them for a reason. It's because you're getting some kind of value off these guys, whoever it is, right? And you'll notice, if you go through their feed, you'll notice that, you know, they've obviously found and honed in on a couple of things that they know are big hitters with their market, and they just keep going down that. They don't come up with new shit all the time. Like, it's new by the fact that it's a new execution of it, but it's another episode in that story.
Yeah, it's consistent messaging.
Yeah. So here are some ideas, like behind the scenes content, you know, UGC. So user generated content, or like member generated content, is UGC. Back when I, you know, had a real job doing social media for an agency here in Sydney, is up to 7 times more powerful than a brand created content, because you can say you're funny, but if someone else says that you're funny, that's actually worth more. Same thing there. Your demo, like showcasing F45, educational, like, so things like what to eat before an F45 session, how to foam roll out before the session, or what goes in your gym bag, like, you know, what goes in your gym bag, how to meal prep, you know, what's on, you know, culture focus. So like showing, I guess, the human side of your team. Like, it might be some of your team development sessions. It might be some of this stuff. It might be whatever. Fun, lighthearted, like Friday funnies are always that always gets engagement. Like, you might not make any profit out of it, but it always, if you want people to kind of tag each other, just throw out a funny and get them and say, tag your gym buddy, and it'll happen. Like, those F45 memes are pretty funny that roll around, but then everyone posts those too. Member stories, member hype, like members froth on seeing what other members are up to, but not just like, meet Jane. Jane used to be this, and she's a school teacher up the road, and now Jane's on fire. Romans, you emoji, like flex emoji. It's like, our members want to hear about how the fuck did Jane get a 6-pack?
Yeah.
Like, I love Jane. I'm training with her, but like, well, what do you have for dinner? Like, talk me through it. So again, like, don't be generic. Come and get that next level. Get to know the team member or member takeovers. If you look at our Instagram today, being Melbourne Cup Day, we had a member take. So we've got a kind of a wellness partners program, and our Trainer's Choice from the last challenge won a wellness package with our partners. And so he did an Instagram takeover of our feed today when he went and checked out Hunting Puppy Yoga studio up the road, and it was good content.
What parameters do you put around that when you give it to them? Are you just like, go for your life, or do you have like, okay, these are kind of...
Well, we did do a go for your life to a guy called Corey Hodge, legend, love him, when he was doing the challenge, and he ended up drunk at Mr. Crackle's up at Oxford Street in the city, and I was mortified when I woke up in the morning. But like, members were going, that was so good, like it was so real and authentic, which yeah, I have a point later on about that, which is kind of what people want to see to some extent. Obviously, wasn't brand proof.
Yeah.
But now we just get them to record on their phone, send it over, and we post straight up to our thing, just so there's no toilet shots or whatever. But social, like organic socials, like the people who do it well make money out of it too, right? Like in terms of they generate sales out of their organic social feed. So like, don't be afraid to make some sales, make some money. But don't just do that. Obviously, build some goodwill. Examples, if it's educational, again, you could tutorials, exercise stretches, easy meals, health tips, a day on a plate for, the challenges, quotes, all this sort of stuff, which I know you know. In terms of some hacks, so I'll get to, in terms of some hacks that we found have been helpful with Instagram is you post your stories throughout the day and spaced out, not all at once. There's a sort of a thing now that if you go on people's stories and you see all the updates and they look like ants across the screen, like how many times do you just go, nah, and you just go straight across? Yeah, too many, man. Location tags help. Write copy that encourages either action or engagement. Like, share some of the timeline posts and stories and drive traffic to it. You know how you see that? How you can kind of add it as a post and it like new post and you drive people to it. It's about attention. We want to grab people's attention. Instagram lives and Facebook lives, Facebook and Instagram, same company, their algorithms favoring lives at the moment because they want people on the platform. It's all about them wanting people on the platform now since the Cambridge Analytica thing.
Yep.
UGC is, like I said, hashtags. We like mention, and I think a lot of studios do this well. Like we mention the members that are in the shots.
Yeah.
If you post something, tag people. Yeah. Same thing on Facebook. If you post something, go back in there and tag everyone in there because then all their mates see it and it increases the organic reach. Yeah. But what it actually does is like social is about us being social citizens on the platforms. So you're tagging, you're following, you're liking, you're commenting on their shit. You like. That's kind of what it's about. And if you want, I know some studios, they create like a free Linktree account. So, if you go hit the bio, hit the link in the bio, instead of changing the links every frigging day you do it, you just create a Linktree and it kind of gets there and it takes people off in different directions. If you want to.
So what's that? I'm not familiar with that.
Linktree is basically, it's one link. So you click on it and it opens up kind of, let's just call it a landing page, but it's not for 45 HQ purposes. And it might just have like a link to your to purchase the Kickstarter. It might have a link to order the meals. It might have a link to register for the F45 challenge.
You can give you a feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of Insta. This is kind of what's working at the moment. Things will change. It's not everything, but it's this is meant to make things easier and take the anxiety out of kind of organic for people. Facebook, same thing, is about engagement, liking, replying to the comments on the posts, even if they're emojis or even if you just like loved the comment.
Yeah.
Or like, what works well on Facebook is the bans. Like if you get in there and go like, and you add some bans, like, oh, did you see this person at yesterday 6 a.m? Lol, can't believe he couldn't, whatever. Like, ask the questions again. We want people to respond, especially just kind of broadcasting, like broadcast. It's like start a conversation. Like, what about, that's just kind of like the response time actually helps, helps your business page. Caption your video. So when you post your stuff, you can, if you want to get subtitles done, you can go to rev.com. And it's
rev.com.
I think it's like $1 a minute. Like you can, don't ask me how they're doing it, but it's $1 a minute, I think, US for subtitles. And you might just need to wait like 24 hours or something. Or Facebook's internal kind of captions are getting better. They don't really understand me a lot of the times, but I think you're a lot clearer than I am.
Yeah, I think that from my experience, that one depends on the person's accent.
Exactly right. Yeah.
I've had some that are really good and some that are just not so good.
Yeah. Because people are watching videos like on the train and they're silent or in bed. You don't want to wake up the next person or whatever. Like Facebook Lives, and again with Facebook, kind of tag people in the photos to make sure that all their friends see it, and keep an eye on your Facebook insights to sort of see what's working, what doesn't. Yeah,
I did. Leading up to this challenge, I set myself a goal of doing a live every single day for the 2 weeks leading up to it.
Yeah.
And that works really well. We got
nice.
A bit of eyeballs and some people joining as a result, tagging other people.
In terms of the when to post, again, the same thing. Like, think about when you use socials. 63% of Australians go on social after work in the evening, 49% first thing in the morning, 36% at lunchtime, and 35%. I know that adds up to more than 100%. But and when you think about when all these
socials a lot.
Yeah, and when you think about when all these leads are coming through, it's kind of similar, isn't it? Like after work, and if these guys want the phone calls, it's after work, first thing in the morning, a little bit at lunch. So factor that into when you're building the schedules, which brings me to my next point. Like on the fly is the worst. That's what we found created the most anxiety for us. Was like, oh fuck, you're on the fly, you're paying for your watermelon at the register, and you're like, watermelon. That reminds me, I need to post about something, and you're like, oh, haven't got it yet. I need to post about it. I need to capture it. Then I've got to do this thing, and I've got to get that's what used to drive me or us mental. Like, so having a plan, like planning it out and batch producing your content, just like batch emails, batch anything as an engineer, like it's all about, if you get deep into productivity, into the theory around productivity, like batch, similar tasks at once is way more efficient than like little bits of it over time, and post it to a schedule is way more productive, sustainable and organized. Like we don't want to burn out our trainers if they're the ones that have got control over the socials, by having them like hang off their phones, even though we know they're on it anyway, doing their own socials. But this is the one that we found has been the most consistent, the most well thought out, and the most like we felt like we're actually getting better at it now over time, not just kind of coming up with the same shit. So our thing was like we didn't want another subscription to have to pay for, like a Buffer, a Hootsuite, a Quick Sprout, any of these guys, another $79 a month. It's not much, but it just you forget which subscriptions you've got, right? And I don't know, since the Cambridge Analytica thing with Facebook and the kind of algorithm had a big shake up, rumor had it was that all these systems or these sites, whether it be true or not, if you were scheduling stuff out from these platforms, that the algorithm wouldn't favor it because Facebook want you on the platform. Their thoughts are it'll provide and produce better more engaging posts, and that's the environment they want to create. Because I think what happened was it went too far the other. Back when I was in social media for big large corporations here in Australia, like you'd schedule everything at the first day of the month. You schedule everything, and you wouldn't, like, except for a couple of on the spot days, like you would need to get back on the platform, and that's where it got, like, you would have noticed your own news feeds was just like, fuck, you just get hammered.
Yeah.
So they want you on the platform. But if you don't want another subscription or another piece of software that your team has to learn, Glowfox, MindBody, Gym Leads, whatever, we kind of created a format in Google Sheets that was a way that we could just see the month at one glance. We color coordinated everything so we could see the spread of content that we were producing, making sure that we weren't too heavy on one and too light on another. Shit, it's been 4 weeks since we posted anything on Member Hype or whatever it is. But we can collaborate, like, because it's Google Sheets, which we've all got Google because the F45 thing is Google. My team can jump on at whatever time, let me know when they're done. I can jump on, we can work on it together, post, stuff in there together, and then we agree on it. And then I can kind of sit back and just watch it unfold and it's the fucking best. So I'll show you the format now, okay? So here it is here. So the idea is like, it starts on a Sunday. So you just choose the Sunday that it's on and then all the other dates change. Go back to that. So in here, you write your caption, like the what you're going to post. Actually, no, we'll do it in reverse. So these little drop downs go a bit into the settings. It pulls from the settings.
Yep.
So this is where you put in your content pillars. So these are the content pillars that we use.
Yep. At
the moment. To be honest, there's probably too many. There's 9 there at the moment. We're trying 9, and we're going to probably whittle it down to, the 4 or 5 that really hit the mark. And it's also easier for us to produce.
Yep.
So these are our content pillars. These are the different status, and this is the different format. We want to make sure we get a good spread on the format as well, because I think some people, they're either doing one or they're either doing the other, and they don't really kind of get the spread.
And people to what you're comfortable with.
Exactly. So here are some reminders. But the first thing is like change to your specific social media strategy and your pillars. Put some thought into it. Don't just rip mine off. Like Ash and the guys might, really feel quite emotional towards one thing or another, or yourself, or your local area might be big on experiment. See what analytics tells you the market's responding to, and just a reminder that there's no point trying to be pretty and perfect if it means inconsistent and not valuable or not kind of authentic. So you find your pillars, you chuck in your format and your status, and then you go into here and you go, right, okay, so what are we going to do? I feel like we need to do a photo, and we're going to do F45 food swap. So here we might just go, Sunday might be like a regular spag bowl versus a F45 challenge spag bowl. And it's almost like you do the graphic and it's like 800 calories versus 343 calories. It's like 1.5 Athleticas or not even 1 Athletica. You still get spag bowl, right? We schedule that. That's ready to go. That'll just get posted, right? Over here, you might choose, we might want to do a members hype thing, like meet Lucy, and then her story. And we want that to be, we actually want that to be a Facebook Live, because it might actually be, let's just say this is the end of the challenge, and like you've just done all your after scans. This might actually be member hype and you've gone live, and this will be like live from the after scans, results. And then you can really see, over time, I'm just going to do this to exaggerate things now. But let's just say, like, as you build this thing out, you can start to really see like where you're light on some elements and where like we might want to pump things up a bit. Like you might look at that first 2 weeks and go, we actually done a couple of how-tos. We've hyped up a fair bit. There's a sale. We've got some food swaps, but we've only really how to, in terms of like our members want more information about technique. Our members want more information about how to supplement, like what supplements do I need to take, that sort of stuff. So you might want to rearrange some of this and go, right, okay, we won't talk about the wellness partners. We'll put another how-to in there. And this one will be, let's say it's Wednesday before, the Easter long weekend. We might be like, how to survive the Easter eggs. If this was the long weekend you're about to go into. How to survive Easter without blowing out. Something like that. And you might go like, that's going to be a video that we're going to produce beforehand. And so whenever you see all these videos, we get in the sort of habit when we have our captain's meetings on the Monday, is we might just stay back another 30 minutes, or even an hour. And in 1 hour, we've got this thing, it's like one take. Not about being perfect, just go one take. Yep. And we'll just film it. Bang, 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 bang. All the videos all the kind of like whiteboard videos that we did for the challenge, we filmed in 1.2 hours and we used it for the 4 weeks.
Yeah. Got it.
So then,
So even like batching up all the actual creative as well.
Well, like instead of like getting on the Canva every day or getting onto your phone and thumbing around between all the different apps and like, just like get yourself in front of your computer, you or someone else, and just like create it all. That's definitely the way. That's, even if you want to start with just doing like once a week, but doing it for the whole week in one go.
Yeah.
And then you might stretch it out to 2 weeks. And then as you get better at it, like you've done the whole month. And then here's just a sample of.
And then are you just on the given day, you just jumping in and then just posting on the day, or are you scheduling the posts?
Well, the Facebook ones you can schedule in Facebook itself, right? Instagram, I don't think you can schedule yet still. So you just, you post that, like, but it's ready. You can just sort of jump into your folder. You grab the graphic, and then it's like the CNN video that went viral. And the maid walked in, but it wasn't the maid; it was his wife. Did you watch that?
No, I couldn't hear what you were saying. Say that again.
Do you remember how there was like that CNN video that went viral when the guy was doing it, and it was his wife. It was just
awkward.
But anyway, like he's an example of this is what we're doing at the moment. This is what Mel's done for Kenzo. So so my trainers run this now.
Yep.
So I jump in and just make sure that. So Beatrice, like that actually went live just before the race. So that's going. Mel's doing so well with this, and she planned all of this from the start. Like the chin up progression down here. That's a how-to video. We're doing a foam rolling recovery from our partners, who's a physio. So stuff like that. But anyway, this has helped me, and for me, someone who could procrastinate for days looking for the perfect format, perfect template. This has been the thing that is like, it's free, it ticks all the boxes for us, and it's been helpful for us. These are some other apps that also help us, and I've also just added in some inspo as well of what we think is some good content from around the grounds. Mm-hmm. So what I would suggest.
What does InShot do?
InShot, as my daughter's putting my hood on. Get out of here,
mate.
Mate, InShot's a great little app. It's free. There is a premium upgrade, which I struggled to. It's only $3, but I was like, no one pays for apps. And it allows you to like reformat sizes, put backgrounds, you can put subtitles, like you can letterbox it, all that sort of stuff. Naturally, not all, like I wish there was just one app that just did everything, but they don't. Yeah. It's friggin' annoying.
Yeah.
But we bounce between these sort of apps.
And Videorama, what does that do?
Again, it's just a bit like with videos.
To edit videos.
It's the same thing. Instagram's getting better. Like a lot of the kind of internal Instagram stuff is getting better now. And you can just kind of, instead of posting, you just save it and you kind of got a video. So what I implore you to do, mate, or anyone that is going to watch this, is do it for 30 days. starting from like tomorrow. Just do it and just stick with it. Like, decide on your content pillars. Don't overthink it. Don't create a lot of drama. Like, some of it's going to come obvious to you. You'll be able to see from the stuff that you've posted before, like what seems to have gotten some engagement in the past. Just decide on your content pillars, get started, build it into your action plan for the next 30 days, put it into the plan for the next 30 days, into that plan like that I showed you, and just stick with it. Post it, batch process it, batch produce the stuff, and yeah, just try and get yourself into that rhythm of something every day, consistency over pretty, I suppose. Another way that you can, like, once you've identified your pillars, then it's like, okay, I've got pillars. What's the actual content? Like, what's the actual, what am I going to write about?
Yeah.
Right. So it's really as simple as getting a piece of paper on one and just drawing two columns, problem, solution, right? And then on the problem side of things, go 1 to 10. And one of the, and your trainer should be able to come up with this pretty quickly. What are the 10 most questions that we get all the time? What do I eat for an F45 session? What should I eat after an F45 session? What kind of supplements do I take? What's the difference between all the protein powders? How many sessions should I do? If I could do 4 sessions a week, which 4 should I aim for? How do I do a chin up? How do I do a push up? They're the 2 most common things that we get asked, right? Like, without assistance and without being on my knees. How I'm eating healthy, but I'm still not losing weight. And things like, why should I do the F45 challenge if I've already, like, if I don't need to lose any weight? So there's like 10, right? Then on the other side, in the solutions, is what's the answer? And then that's like 10 days worth. If you go through that 3 times, that's a whole month. But you wouldn't need to go through it 3 times, because you intersperse that with some hype stuff, with some, what the hell is F45? Playoffs, Corey G's coming to town. Like, you'd intersperse that with other stuff, some Friday funny. So you've actually might just, if you just go through that one exercise, go 1 to 10, that's a really easy hack. Go through 1 to 10, answer it, and you might have like more than one answer for each of those questions. You intersperse that with some of the other pillars that you've got. Mate, you've got 3 months worth of content. Job done. Thoughts?
I like it. The batch producing is what I need to get a bit more into.
Yeah.
So we're pretty consistent with the posting every day, but I think the opportunity is the batching it up. We had a calendar, also a Google Sheet, pretty similar, but it wasn't it just wasn't as easy to use. So I think it was not as clean as this. This will be good.
Yeah, just people have done a lot more with a lot less, and the batch processing, it just forces yourself, force yourself into a new routine. Stick a set of these things on, get yourself into deep focus work. 90 minutes maybe, or a couple of hours. Again, just start with doing a week's worth on one day. And then as you get better and get more efficient, that ends up being 2 weeks worth. And then ideally get to a stage where you're always like 4 weeks out, or you're always a couple of weeks out at least.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to schedule everything so much so that you're also not, you also need to be kind of quite nimble to
you got to
responding to the market and what seems to be working well. Everyone froth on that post we did last Thursday. I thought, so but don't overuse it either. So, yeah, I'm also, this is it's just a personal thing. I'm also not a massive fan of people's feeds that is overly curated as well. When you see feeds where it's like, one day is this color, the next day is a quote, and like every second day is a quote. And when you look at their feed, it's beautiful because it's like every second day is a quote and it's white and it's in the same font and it's whatever. And I just go, oh, imagine Whereas I'm more about like value. Like I want to keep coming back for the same thing. I think an element of predictability is good because then you know what you want, and you want it. Back in the day when you used to have Maccas, whenever you used to get a Maccas, you know what you're going to get. So there's an element of predictability that works. But I think in socials, it's about in the moment, authentic, real, speaking to the person, and just seeing what works over time.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't think there's too many punters sitting out there going, "Oh, I know Friday's a Friday funny, so I'm hanging out for the Friday." I think it's just what comes up on my feed is what I'm looking at. So
That's what people are feeling, mate.
yeah. Yep.
All right, dude.
Sounds good.
Let me just hit stop record on this, and then we can cover anything else off. How do I get back to there?